Hello, I'm Sarah Jane Critchley, the author of A Different Joy, The Parent's Guide to Living Better with Autism, Dyslexia, ADHD and more. Today I want to talk to you about how to build self-esteem in your young person. Because if you've got a child with special needs or you're working with them, they will be picked on, they will be bullied, they will have difficulties that other children don't experience. So one of the most important jobs that you have is how to build their self-esteem. Okay? So we're just going to talk through some ways that you can do that, and I've got some ideas and some things to show you. The first thing, and the most important thing, is to be positive. To be positive about them, what they can achieve, and about the condition that they have. It doesn't matter whether you're talking about autism, dyslexia or ADHD. There are lots of examples of people who've done incredibly well with any of those conditions and who've gone on to be a massive success in their own right. So part of your job is to find really good role models and to be positive about their experience as best you can. The second thing for me is around respect. So that's around not trying to fix them or to turn them into somebody that they can't be and won't be. It's around respecting who they are and enabling that person to function as best as they can, while still allowing them to be themselves and supporting their ability to talk in the way that they want to talk and to be the person they need to be. In order to do that, you need to use, sorry that's very small, you need to use their preferred method of communication. Everything successful in terms of helping anybody comes down to communication. So if they want to communicate using text messages, or if they communicate using text-to-voice speech, or if they communicate using choice boards, you have to use the method that they're comfortable in communicating with. And that may change depending on what else is going on. So I was with an autistic man last week, and he was describing how when he's got a huge amount on, he's feeling overwhelmed, the best way of communicating with him was by text or emails, and he communicates to his family like that, and they bring him cups of tea, bottles of beer, all that sort of thing. Very helpful. So it's all around making it appropriate and what they need, so their choice of communication. The next one is around making sure that you build resilience. So it's okay to fail, it's okay to get things wrong, and young people have to be given the chance to do that and the space and time to do that. And there are lots of ways of doing that. Start small, pick something simple, but try not to be critical when it goes wrong or if it doesn't work the way that you would like it to work. Some of you may have issues like me about dishwashers and how they're loaded and how things are done in the kitchen. One of the things I've had to learn is that if I want my children to learn how to cook and to do that effectively, I have to actually get out of the way and enable them to do things the slower way, maybe the slightly less effective way, maybe not including all the ingredients that I would include or chopping it to the size I would chop it, but it's fine to let them try it, to let them learn that actually things cook better when they're chopped at the same size, all that sort of stuff. They have to learn those things for themselves, and by building their ability to get it wrong and to learn new ways of doing things, learning portion control, what sort of sizes you need for how many people, and there are ways of getting around it, that sort of thing builds capability and it builds resilience. And as you learn to do those things, you think, oh well, maybe you didn't quite make enough for 4 people this time. Next time, put more in. It's about building resilience and capability at every stage. The next one, it's around using a person's strengths. Don't always spend all your time saying, oh, well, you've got to solve this problem, you need to be stronger at that. It's around finding what those strengths are and to build on those so that they feel confident. It's around the confidence-competence loop. The more you practice, the more confident you become. You don't become more confident by working again and again and again on things that you fail at. It's around saying, well, that was better. Let's have another go. Much better. Excellent. You're getting really good at that. But start from a strength. Don't start from a weakness. Next, value my special interests. It's really, really important to give people airtime for the things that they want. And there are ways of doing that that's respectful. So if you have a young person who would be inclined to broadcast for ages, then create a space and a time within which they are able to talk about what their special interest is and put boundaries around that. And say, that's fantastic, I'd love to talk to you for 10 minutes about lifts or a particular game or a rugby team or whatever their special interest is. And after that we will do, so it's first and then, talk to you about this now, you can have this time here, and then we'll talk about something else. And that then builds turn taking, and it builds a sense of having to give airtime to other people as well, which is really, really useful. And help me to share my truth. If you don't treat people with respect, if you don't share their ability to be able to tell you what they need and to respect what the reality is for them, even if you don't see it, you may not see it, but if you sit down and talk to them about what's causing that feeling, there will always be a reason, and the reason will usually be every bit as justified as anything that you might have come up with. So let's just be a bit more human about it and respect other people and enable them to share their truth, especially when they find that difficult. So for those of you who are doing advocacy with local authorities as part of education, health and care plans, you'll be working on that in your Appendix A's to share the young person's views. To do that, you've got to talk to them about what they need, and you need to value those. There is a balance, obviously, about their short-term wishes and long-term needs. So it's doing both for the future and for the now, and building that pathway. So what things can you actually literally do that could be helpful? Well, one of the things that we found most useful is to be able to identify the things that you love and to make a note of anything that goes really well. So I was doing an exercise last week, and this is really quite a nice thing to do, which is, this is an example that somebody completed on the day, and it was to find 3 things that you're good at, 3 things that you're grateful for, and 3 things that you love to do. And in this young person's case, they said they're good at public speaking, they're good at uni work, they're good at helping others, they're grateful for family, friends and physical health, and that they love to do football, trains and listen to radio. And what that does is, when you spend time thinking about the positive things, talking about number 1, be positive. When you spend time talking about the positive things, what it does is it can take your stress level down from the red into the green. Based on the concept of the incredible 5-point scale, look that up if you haven't come across it, it's fantastic. But the idea is you build on a strength and you think about how thinking about those things and using those things can actually help you to be calmer and more able to deal with things. So that's a really good way of actually just capturing that really, really quickly. It doesn't take very long, nice and easy. And I wanted to also to show you some other examples. I mentioned in A Different Joy the fact that we have a glory file. Now, the glory file will vary from one person to another, and what you put in it would be anything where somebody has said something positive about you, okay? So, for example, I've got 3 here from my daughter. She's got her rainbow swimming certificates. So loads and loads of certificates in there, lots of those. We capture any example where somebody's given them a certificate for any holiday clubs they've been in, any really good piece of work they've done, and put those in there. So that's one. There's another where she did some singing. She's won awards for her singing, so that's fantastic. Parts of festivals we're in. And some schools have this thing where before they leave they actually ask other pupils to think of one positive thing about each pupil, and they write them down, and we've kept those because they're all really nice. Now occasionally that goes wrong, and if there's a negative thing on there, get rid of it. Only ever keep really positive stuff, never keep the negative, okay? Plenty of the negative around, and that's really handy. Got yet another one. Lots of sciencey stuff, so she was very good at science, and she's got a First Investigators Award there. So loads and loads of different certificates in there, different ones at different times, and these are the format that she wanted them to be in, so that's fine. The one that made me laugh, tidiest cabin. I mean, how on earth did that happen? Just, yeah, we kept that one. So it's even laminated. You can put them up on the wall if you want to as well. And I do this for me as well, because sometimes you need them. And mine's a grown-up version. It's very pretty. So this is my version as an adult. I put any positive things in there, and I've got lovely emails from people. I've got nice things that people have said, printed them out and popped them in there. So if I need a lift, I can go to my glory file and do it. On the wall behind you, all of these are all cards that are based around lovely things that people have said, and I've kept them and I've captured them because they help me to feel really positive in my workspace. If you're surrounded by positivity, you're far more able to deal with the things that are tricky and difficult. So that's my message for you today. I hope you're going to have a really good week. I'm here to help you speak your truth on your struggle and live happier lives of your own choosing. Take care. Lots of love. Speak to you soon. Bye.